The concept of the Waldemath Dark Moon, often referred to as the second moon or Lilith moon, occupies a unique, shadow-shrouded corner of astrology. Unlike the black moon Lilith, which is a mathematical point, or the asteroid Lilith, the Waldemath moon is based on the observations of 19th-century astronomer George Waldemath, who claimed to have discovered a second, dark satellite of Earth. In a natal chart, this point represents a dense, physicalized form of our shadow self. When placed in the sixth house, the realm of daily ritual, labor, health, and service, its influence manifests as a complex tug-of-war between the desire for perfection and a deep-seated feeling of being an outsider in one's own life. The nature of the shadow in the house of craft. The sixth house is traditionally where we integrate ourselves into the world through routine. It is the house of the grind, the doctor's office, and the organized desk. When the Waldemath Dark Moon resides here, the shadow is not something distant or philosophical. It is something that lives in the user's morning coffee, their posture, and their relationship with their coworkers. There is often a profound sense of otherness regarding the physical body and the concept of work. You may feel that the standard 9-to-5 existence is not just boring, but fundamentally alien or even toxic to your soul. This placement suggests a person who cannot simply perform tasks because they are told to. There is a primal need for the work to mean something deep, or else it begins to feel like a form of psychic imprisonment. Health, somatization, and the body. In the sixth house, the dark moon frequently manifests through the body. Because the sixth house rules health, the darkness of this moon can lead to somatization, the process where psychological distress is expressed as physical symptoms. You might find that when you are in an environment that suppresses your true nature, your body speaks for you through mysterious ailments, fatigue, or sensitivities that modern medicine struggles to categorize. This isn't just about being sick, it's about the body acting as a guardian of integrity. The Waldemath moon here acts as a biological alarm system. If you are serving a master, be it a boss, a partner, or a social expectation that does not align with your internal truth, the sixth house shadow will disrupt your physical equilibrium until you pay attention. The paradox of service and subservience. One of the most intense expressions of this placement involves the relationship between the self and the concept of service. The sixth house is the house of the servant, but the dark moon is inherently rebellious and wild. This creates a fascinating internal conflict. You may have an incredible capacity for devotion and hard work, yet you harbor a secret, fierce resentment toward anyone who assumes they have authority over you. This often leads to a lone wolf approach to professional life. You might excel in roles where you are the specialist, the one who handles the darker or more complex tasks that others shy away from. You are likely drawn to the messy side of service, healing the outcasts, dealing with crises, or working in fields that involve the hidden undercurrents of society. Daily rituals as a path to integration. To work with the Waldemath Dark Moon in the sixth house, one must stop trying to be normal in their habits. The shadow here demands a ritualized life that acknowledges the dark as much as the light. This might mean unconventional sleep schedules, a diet that focuses on earthy or primitive foods, or a workspace that feels more like a private sanctuary than a corporate cubicle. The lesson of this placement is to find the sacred in the mundane. When you stop viewing your daily chores and health as a series of problems to be solved and start seeing them as a canvas for your shadow to express itself, the heaviness of the dark moon lifts. You are not meant to be a perfect machine of productivity, you are meant to be a craftsman of your own unique, slightly chaotic, and deeply authentic reality. Ultimately, the Waldemath moon in the sixth house asks you to transform the sludge of daily life into gold. By accepting that your rhythm is different and that your body has its own dark wisdom, you turn a potential source of chronic stress into a source of profound, grounded power. To go deeper into the Waldemath Dark Moon in the sixth house, we must look at the psychological weight this point carries. Unlike the black moon Lilith, which acts like a vacuum of desire, the Waldemath moon functions like a physical anchor. It is heavy, cold, and uncompromising. In the sixth house, this density settles into the structures of your life, making the ordinariness of existence feel like a profound spiritual test. The saboteur in the system. The sixth house is where we seek to be useful. However, the dark moon here often acts as an internal saboteur of traditional success. You may find that just as you are about to achieve a sense of stability or perfect your routine, a wave of profound dissatisfaction or a sudden health crisis emerges to derail the process. This is not random bad luck. It is the dark moon's way of ensuring you do not become a cog in the machine. If your daily life becomes too sanitized, too predictable, or too focused on external validation, the Waldemath shadow will create chaos to force you back into a state of self-reliance. It demands that your labor be an expression of your soul, not just a way to pay the bills. The witch's pharmacy and holistic health. Because the sixth house governs the physical vessel, this placement often indicates a person who is highly sensitive to chemicals, synthetic environments, and the plastic nature of modern life. You might find that standard Western medical approaches feel incomplete or even invasive. There is often a calling towards shadow medicine, homeopathy, herbalism, or energetic healing. The dark moon here suggests that your health is inextricably linked to your environment. You are like a canary in a coal mine. If your workplace or home is toxic, you will feel it in your bones before anyone else does. Healing for you is not about fixing a symptom, but about reclaiming the wildness of the body that society tries to domesticate. Relationship with subordinates and pets. In the sixth house, we also find our relationships with those who work for us and our domestic animals. The Waldemath moon can create a very intense, almost psychic bond with animals, particularly those that are misunderstood or darker in nature, the black cat, the rescue dog with a bite history, the scavenger. These animals often act as mirrors for your own repressed shadow. Regarding workplace dynamics, you likely have a no-nonsense detector that is second to none. You can see through the false smiles of coworkers or the manipulative tactics of managers instantly. This can make you a formidable advocate for workers' rights, or it can make you the difficult employee who refuses to participate in corporate posturing. You respect competence and authenticity, but you have zero patience for hierarchy that isn't earned. Transmuting the burden of labor. The ultimate evolution of this placement involves the concept of sacred labor. The sixth house is the house of Vesta, the priestess of the hearth. When the dark moon is integrated here, your work becomes a form of shadow work in the literal sense. You might find yourself drawn to the taboo, careers involving death, waste, psychology, or the hidden parts of the human experience. The invisible, working behind the scenes to maintain the foundations that others take for granted. The alchemical, taking raw, dirty materials and refining them into something of value. When you stop fighting the heaviness of your responsibilities and instead view them as a ritualistic anchoring of your power, the sixth house stops being a place of drudgery. You begin to understand that by mastering the mundane details of life, you are actually building a fortress for your spirit. You are not just cleaning a house or filing a report, you are clearing space for the divine to manifest in the physical world, the transit of the Waldemath Dark Moon through the sixth house. When the Waldemath Dark Moon, that elusive, ghost satellite of our shadow, transits your sixth house, it signals a period of profound re-evaluation of your daily existence. Unlike the swift, emotional transit of our visible moon, which passes through a house in a few days, the Waldemath transit is a slow, grinding process. It acts as a heavy fog rolling into your engine room, forcing you to slow down and listen to the creaks and groans of the machinery you usually ignore. The breakdown of the routine. The sixth house is the domain of the functional self, how we organize our time, how we serve others, and how we maintain our physical vessel. When the dark moon transits here, the functional often becomes dysfunctional. You may find that the systems you've relied on for years, your filing method, your morning gym routine, your workflow, suddenly feel hollow or suffocating. This transit is not a time for powering through. If you try to force your usual productivity, the dark moon will respond with a specific kind of paralyzing fatigue. It is essentially sabotaging the mundane to save the soul. It wants to know, are you working because you are alive, or are you living just to work? Somatic truths, the body's rebellion. Perhaps the most intense aspect of this transit is its effect on health. The Waldemath moon is associated with the most physicalized aspects of the shadow. During this transit, repressed emotions, specifically those related to servitude, resentment, and feeling undervalued, will often somatize or manifest as physical symptoms. You might experience vague ailments, symptoms that doctors struggle to diagnose, often flaring up when you feel psychologically trapped by a task. Sensitivity to toxicity, a sudden inability to tolerate processed foods, harsh environments, or even the energy of certain people in your workspace. The need for dark rest, a craving for solitude that isn't just about sleep, but about retreating into a quiet, low-stimulus space to recalibrate your nervous system. The shadow in the workplace. Socially, this transit can be a truth-teller in professional settings. You may find yourself losing the ability to play the game. Corporate jargon, office politics, and the small talk of the break room might become unbearable. You may feel like an outsider among your peers, but this distance gives you a superpower, X-ray vision into the flaws of the system. You will see exactly where energy is being wasted and where the rot is located in your organization. The challenge is to hold this knowledge without letting it turn into bitter cynicism. The dark moon isn't asking you to burn the office down, it's asking you to find a way to work that doesn't require you to sacrifice your integrity. Ritualizing the shadow. The remedy for this transit is to stop viewing the sixth house as a place of chores and start viewing it as a place of alchemy. This is the perfect time to simplify, strip away every obligation that isn't essential. Shadow medicine, explore alternative or darker healing modalities, blood work, deep tissue release, or ancestral healing that addresses inherited physical trauma. Devotion to the small, find one tiny, daily act that belongs only to you and your shadow, a secret walk at dusk, a private journal, or a silent ritual before starting work. When the Waldemath moon eventually leaves your sixth house, you won't necessarily have a better routine in the traditional sense. Instead, you will have a more honest one, a life where your body and your labor are finally in conversation with your deepest, darkest truths. When the Waldemath Dark Moon forms a conjunction with a natal planet or a mathematical point in the sixth house, the influence of that planet becomes darkened, weighted, and pulled into the sphere of physical necessity. A conjunction represents a total merging of energies. Here, the functions of the planet in question are no longer light or easy, they become the site of a profound, earthly labor. Because the Waldemath moon represents a dense, physical shadow, these conjunctions often feel like a fated burden that must be carried until it is understood and transmuted into a specialized skill. Personal planets, the heavy self. Conjunction with the sun. This is one of the most intense placements for the Waldemath moon. Your core identity, sun, is inextricably linked to the service and health of the sixth house. You may feel that your light is obscured by constant duties or physical limitations. There is a sense that you are here to be a worker in the shadows. Your vitality is tied to how authentically you handle the grime of life. If you try to be a shining star in a traditional sense, you will feel drained. You find your true power by being the indispensable person who handles what others cannot face. Conjunction with the moon. This creates a double dark moon effect. Your emotional security is tied to your physical environment and your body's health. There is a deep, primal need for a rhythmic, almost monastic daily life. Your moods are highly somatic. If your kitchen is messy or your body feels off, your emotional world collapses. This conjunction often indicates a deep, psychic connection to the pain body of others, making you a natural healer, though you must be careful not to absorb the illnesses of those you serve. Conjunction with Mercury. Mercury here turns the mind toward the occult, the technical, and the microscopic. Your thinking is not light or chatty, it is investigative and sharp. You might have a black thumb for technology or, conversely, a strange ability to fix things that are broken beyond repair. Communication in the workplace can be difficult, as you tend to speak the uncomfortable truth. You have the mind of a forensic analyst, you see the flaw in the system instantly, which can make you appear critical or cynical to those who prefer a polished surface. Conjunction with Venus. Venus in the 6th is usually about pleasant surroundings and social ease at work. The Waldemath Moon conjunction stains this. You may find beauty in things others find repulsive or ugly. Your sense of value is tied to hard work and the blood, sweat, and tears of creation. In relationships, you show love through acts of service, but these acts can feel heavy or obligatory. You are drawn to the broken or the misfits, finding a dark, aesthetic pleasure in the imperfect and the worn out. Conjunction with Mars. This is a volatile placement. Mars provides the drive, but the dark moon provides a slow-burning, hidden resentment. You are a tireless worker, but your energy often comes from a place of defiance. You may struggle with passive-aggressive health issues or workplace conflicts. The key here is to channel this intense energy into physically demanding, complex tasks. You are the warrior of the mundane, capable of enduring immense physical hardship as long as you feel you are fighting for your own autonomy. Social and outer planets, the collective shadow. Conjunction with Jupiter. Jupiter usually expands, but the Waldemath Moon compresses. This can manifest as a heavy faith or an obsession with perfecting the body through extreme diets or health philosophies. You may feel a massive responsibility towards service, leading to burnout. However, it also gives you the ability to find profound hidden treasures in the most boring or difficult jobs. You find your luck in the places others have abandoned. Conjunction with Saturn. This is perhaps the most material conjunction. Both Saturn and the Waldemath Moon deal with boundaries, karma, and the physical world. In the 6th house, this can feel like a double prison of duty. You may face significant health challenges or a career that feels like a life sentence. Yet, this is also the signature of the master craftsman. You have the patience to work on a single task for a lifetime. You understand the architecture of the physical world better than anyone, and your service becomes a legacy of enduring structure. The angular points, conjunction with the descendant DC. If the 6th house conjunction is close to the descendant, your shadow work is projected onto your partners and open enemies. You may attract people who are sick, burdened, or dark in their habits. These people act as mirrors for your own 6th house shadow. You are tasked with learning that the mess you see in others is an invitation to clean up and integrate your own daily rituals and physical boundaries. Summary of the conjoined path. A conjunction with the Waldemath Dark Moon in the 6th house is an invitation to physical alchemy. It takes the function of the planet and forces it into the crucible of daily life. The goal is never to escape the weight, but to become strong enough to carry it, transforming a burden into a specialized tool for navigating the hidden depths of the material world. Subscribe, like, and share.